She is a force of nature. She's a fashion force and an amazing human being.
Well, I feel the same about you. Like I said, I mean, the way that you have shown up for the new Legacy Challenge, I'm always so inspired
Our future.
by it. So it's incredible. As a matter of fact,
Our future.
he changed his schedule today to be here. So thank you. Thank you. So let's take it all the way back, okay? So you started your fashion career in high school. Could you share with us the beginning of your journey?
What I want to do in life, I want to be in the jeans business. So I teamed up with a friend from school, and he had a couple $100, and I had another $150 I'd saved from working in a gas station, and we rented a small space in downtown Elmira. We called it People's Place because we wanted it to be for the people who love fashion and music. I wanted to be a musician, but you wouldn't want to hear me play or sing. But at that time, it was really during the Woodstock Revolution and the fashion music revolution, where people were wearing bell-bottoms and long hair in the early 70s. And I really wanted to be part of that scene. Even though I couldn't play music, I wanted to look like a musician. So People's Place sold cool clothes to cool people, and records, and eventually shoes and boots and bags and jewelry and everything else. But that was where I started. And I had a big success right off the bat. But then I had a bankruptcy because I didn't know anything about business. And that really set me back.
So let's talk about that, right? Because again, we can look at your journey and assume that everything is great because we see where your brand is today. What was some of the early financial struggles that you had in business, and what were some of the most valuable lessons that you got from those struggles?
Great question. I always had financial struggles. The financial struggles were paramount. I mean, every day I had financial struggles because I didn't have enough money to pay rent sometimes. I didn't have enough money to buy new inventory. I didn't have enough money to buy cloth to make jeans. I always had financial trouble. And then when I went bankrupt, a light bulb went off, and I said, I have to learn how to run a business. I have to learn about the business of the business. So I taught myself, and that was the biggest lesson I ever had. Never went to college. I didn't think I would succeed in college because I'm dyslexic, and I didn't realize I was dyslexic. I just thought I was stupid and couldn't read, and I thought I'm going to fake reading. And that's where my trouble began in school. I couldn't really pass a test because I couldn't really read, but nobody knew about dyslexia back then. Anyway, long story short, you have to learn the business of the business, and you will be much more successful.
Right before you went bankrupt, tell us about your business before that. Was it like thriving? Like, were you in stores?
I wasn't in stores. We just had a couple small jean shops in upstate New York, near college campuses. But it was my dream to open my own brand. So after the bankruptcy, I decided I'm going to move to New York City. I'm going to get a job working in a fashion business so I could learn how to manufacture. So I got a job with Jordache Jeans in 1979. And they fired me after 2 months. Because they said, you never went to design school. And by the way, we don't need a designer anyway because we only have one jean that we care about. And I bounced from job to job, got evicted from my apartment on 31st Street. I had a lot of struggles. And then I started another brand called Tommy Hill. And then I found out I couldn't use the name Tommy Hill because somebody else registered the name. And I had many starts and stops. But then in 1985, I met a guy who owned a factory. And he said, I'll partner with you. So I partnered with him and the business started. And it was Tommy Hilfiger, the brand.
Was it hard for you to let go of some of the control and go into a partnership? Because sometimes designers are like, they're holding on to things. Y'all know y'all guilty of this so tight. And you know, when somebody says, I want to come partner with you, you're feeling like somebody's coming to take something away from you. How did you look at partnership?
Everybody always told me that I should never give any kind of ownership of my name away to anybody else. But that was the only way I could get a partner, because the partners I was talking to said, the only way I'm going to be partners with you is if I own part of your name. It was the best thing I ever did. Best thing I ever did was taking a partner. 5 years later, my partner went bankrupt. So he didn't have any more money to put into my business. And this is 5 years after. What's going on with the mic? 5 years after I started. Can you hear me better?
Yes.
Okay, good. So 5 years after I started the Tommy Hilfiger business, my partner went bankrupt. And then I had to start over. And I started going to banks trying to borrow money. I said, we don't believe in fashion businesses. And then I fell into another situation where I met another guy who owned factories, and he became my partner, and he actually stayed with me for over 25 years, and we're still best friends today, but no longer business partners.
That's amazing. What kept you going on those times that were like tough? Like you thought you found like a great partner, and now they go bankrupt. Like what's the thing that kept you moving forward?
I had a dream and I had a vision of becoming successful. And every time I had a bad day, every time it was difficult, every time somebody closed a door in my face, and many of those days happened in this neighborhood, and begging to get into Bloomingdale's and begging to have Macy's just try my clothes, just try. And I would always have that dream pop back up in my vision. And the vision was that nothing was going to come in my way. And if I was going to fall down, I was going to get back up and keep going. Because there was no way I was going to go to my parents, who had 9 kids, and you know, my mother was a nurse, my father fixed watches. We had no money growing up. And I just knew that I had to figure out a way. And fortunately, I did find another partner who had factories and was very helpful. So if you ever find a partner or a potential partner who has factories, that's a big plus, rather than just somebody who wants to put money in.
Y'all feel all of that. I don't know if you feel the energy from this room right now, Tommy, but they're like in church right now. Pastor Tommy.
God bless you all.
So some of the things you talked about require risk. And
no risk, no reward.
And some of the designers in this room are taking, who are here taking big risks right now? Big risks. What are some of the risks you had to take?
Everything you do that could possibly be a success or become a success is a risk. Everything. The width of your pants that you're designing, the type of fabric you're using. Maybe it's your last dollar to buy that 5 yards of fabric to make a sample. Maybe that's a risk. Maybe it would have seam slippage. Maybe it's not going to hold a zipper. I mean, everything you do is a risk. I mean, I still take risks every day. When I did my first ad campaign, it was a huge risk. I put a billboard in Times Square and said, the 4 great American designers are blank, 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 blank. But I was comparing myself to Ralph Lauren, Calvin Klein, and other big designers, and everybody laughed at me. But I needed to get my name known, and an advertising genius, an older guy, told me that if I did something disruptive, people would then remember and know my name, and they would go look at the clothes. And he was right.
Love that.
I just took a big risk at the Met Ball 2 days ago.
Did you guys see Tommy? Give him a hand clap. Let's give him a figure at the Met Gala. Oh my goodness.
Balenciaga, Gucci, Prada, Vuitton, all of the biggest brands in the world dress celebrities. And they dress everybody from Rihanna to Beyonce to Kim to Kylie to you name it, every celebrity. But we dressed 8 boys. A boy band from Korea called Stray Kids. And we got the most amount of mentions and likes of any other brand in the world. That was a risk. We were dressing a Hollywood star or a music superstar from America, like a Beyonce or a Taylor Swift or somebody like that. We were dressing a boy band. And I even questioned it when my team said, hey, maybe we should do this. But we did it, and we nailed it, and we killed it.
Y'all killed it. I mean, y'all shut it down. I saw them, they all posed, and I was like, oh, that's the moment right there. That's the shot. Is there a moment that you've had where you felt like, okay, I made it? What was that moment for you in your career where you thought, okay, I can like breathe now? Because we're all waiting for that moment, right? So tell us your moment.
You're all gonna still waiting for that moment when I feel I really made it. I think that if you think that you've made it, it may be the beginning of the end. And you become lazy and complacent. I work every single day, and I wake up with new ideas every single day, and I live my business. And I think that you have to stay humble, and you have to know that at any given time, somebody could take your place. So, when I did get the second part with Tommy Hilfiger, I thought, now I can breathe a little bit. But that was only to be able to feed my family. I mean, seriously, that was not a moment when I could buy my private jet. You know, that moment came later.
I love that. When you look at young designers now, and I know you have so many designers that you mentor, and you're thinking about, you're giving them advice on longevity. How do you stay in this business for a long time? Like, what's the number one piece of advice that you give?
Okay, that's a great question. And I think you should all really remember this. You have to stay relevant. And you have to always reinvent, but stay consistent. So it may sound like a contradiction to reinvent and stay consistent. You don't have to rewrite the whole book, but you have to look at your brand that is true to you, true to who you are. And then you have to continually update that, refresh it, without losing the heart and soul, the DNA. If you look at my brand, you'll always see a bit of red, white, and blue. Somewhere, you'll see the flag. And when I started, I showed Bloomingdale's the clothes, and they said, we don't buy clothes with logos. And I put my big logo rugby shirt on Snoop Dogg on Saturday Night Live in 1993, 94, and it lit up the brand in a big way. And I don't say that I'm the first to do streetwear, but I was one of the first to dress hip-hop kids, surfers, skate kids, college students, high school students, and I believed strongly in my flag and my logo, and they represented the flag and the logo, and then it spread like wildfire.
I could keep you here all day, but this is my last question for you. In today's kind of fast-paced environment where social media is so plays such a big part in this industry, is there any advice you want to leave the designers with in making it in 2024?
I think you have to live on social media. I think you have to live on Instagram, TikTok, and I think you have to be in the know of what's going on in the zeitgeist. You have to know what people are thinking and what they're wearing and what they're talking about, and then you have to feed into that. But I never had my own broadcast network when I was starting. You have your own broadcast networks, and you could be the voice of your brand to the public through social media. But you have to pound away at it, and you have to be consistent with it. You have to do it every day. You have to gain those followers, because those followers will be your customers.